As an educator, my goal is to help students learn and grow every day. In my classroom, I will mold each student to be a meaningful member of society. By the time they leave my classroom, students will have learned more than the curriculum.
I am determined.
I am determined.
Open your arms into warrior two. Reach forward and back with equal strength. I am balanced.
I am balanced.
I will learn and grow alongside my students as I teach and model appropriate social behavior and 21st century skills. According to Lucy Calkins, it is best to teach in a variety of ways. In my classroom, instructional delivery will have students working in whole class, small groups, and partnerships. As their role model throughout the day, I will stay positive and maintain an ethical attitude, and I will be a smiling face to them every day. My students will leave my classroom feeling encouraged, globally aware, with communication skills, collaboration skills, and with the content knowledge to their highest potential.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Good job on being a role model for my students. I know that they will look up to me, and for some, I might be the only smiling and respectful face they see every day. It is up to me to put my emotions aside and be that smiling face for them. Students will learn essential social skills such as being kind to others, valuing others' opinions, finding security in rules, routines, organized play, and group activities.
Dylan, what do you want to be when you grow up?
An army person.
You want to be in the army?
To fight for our country.
I love it.
I will be a role model to my students. Students can learn how to communicate with each other by seeing how I communicate with everyone I encounter. By modeling, my students will see correct communication skills. This will help aid my students to build positive relationships. They can have the opportunity to go out into the world and be a meaningful member of society. In my classroom, communication, collaboration, and cooperation will be emphasized in everyday activities through working in teams and small groups. I will always openly communicate to my students, parents, and colleagues. Two-way communication with parents is a vital part of an effective classroom. I will communicate with parents daily on great things that their student is doing in the classroom, as well as areas of needed improvement, whether it be my classroom website, an email, or phone call. I want parents and other stakeholders to feel like they are a part of a team that impacts student success.
Okay, that is our dollar sign. But how would we write 25 cents without saying it's $25? We haven't learned this yet, so it's okay if you don't know. What do you think?
I think you had to do that and then write a zero and then write like a dot and then write that. You do know how to do it.
Girl, high five. I am so proud of you. Yes, that is how we would write 25 cents.
How did she do that?
How did you know that?
Bravo.
She just said, well, I noticed this in real life. I know that 25 cent you can write with the dollar sign, but I have to make sure I have a zero and a dot here, so I'm not saying it's $25. So next time you go to the grocery store or somewhere else where you see the little thing on the cash register, pay attention and see. Because sometimes it could be $5.
Not all children learn the same. My students are all individuals. They are all different. Therefore, each student will develop, grow, and learn at different speeds. It would be unfair to my students as well as a disadvantage if I taught all students the same. Treating my students as individual learners rather than a common group of learners will help prevent some being left behind or not being challenged on the level that they should be. I will do this by differentiating for all of my students' individual learning needs. These include all of my students, my low students, average, and high students. Each student will have his or her needs met by when I differentiate for each learning target daily. I will differentiate for my students based on whatever they need. whether it be social, emotional, sensory, behavior needs, or in the content area. I want all of my students to leave my classroom having the skills of being a global citizen by learning about different cultures and global events within my classroom. Current events can sometimes be sensitive subjects in some households. Students should be aware of what is going on around them. As their teacher, my goal is to inform students with current events at local, state, and global areas. I will do this by integrating it into subject areas and Make Me Wonder Monday. I'll be prepared for those questions that my students may ask about for things they hear at home. My goal as an educator is to be globally aware myself on different events that are going on in the world and teach students how to find out answers to their global questions. In my classroom, I will model problem-solving skills and set the foundation for my students on how to think critically. Students will learn and grow in this process by scaffolding global awareness and problem solving. I will do this by first introducing as a class, exploring together, and then letting students have the opportunity to explore and problem solve on their own. Critical thinking will be used in my classroom by having students think and not just scratch the surface, but I plan to dig deep when students want to know more by asking questions about the material so they can leave my classroom having more knowledge than when they came in. Students are willing to push themselves beyond their comfort zones academically, a tremendous amount of growth can occur. Encouragement, cooperation, collaboration, and leadership is important for both the student and the teacher. I will provide positive and relevant feedback for all of my students. I will give positive, constructive feedback so my students can see what mistakes they may have made and how to correct these mistakes.
Seeds. Like seeds we plant in the ground.
And then we'll grow.
Where does this go?
Right there, President. When I first met you, I thought you were.
And why is that?
Because if you take away the S and the D, it's going to be E's.
Yep. So 2 things I want to share with you about what I heard. Dylan told me what he thought was the middle after we learned that it's an event that happens and details that tell about the problem. In his book, he said in the middle, the character that he met in the beginning fell off a mountain.
What?
Yeah. He went snowboarding, so that would be the
Well,
event.
that was actually a race.
And he fell off. And those details to tell us about what happened is he said that he broke his leg. So his character broke his leg. So I want us to look at the best coat, what we've been reading, and see if together we can find the middle of the story.
He didn't break his leg.
So should we just flip through and say, I think this is the middle. What should we do?
Look for the other character that we meet.
Let's start from the beginning and we'll see if we can find the middle together. So we know at the beginning we met our characters and we found our setting, right? We did that together yesterday. So let's just start all over. We'll read the book again and see if we can find the middle. It's summer in the forest. Snowy likes to hop to the lake. She looks at her soft brown coat. I like brown coats best, she says. Fall comes, and Snowy hops to the lake.
Classroom management is a crucial part of any effective classroom. Management strategies will be introduced on the first day of school, continuing to be enforced daily. In my classroom, if I see that a management strategy is not working for my class, I will continue to change, implement, and enforce new strategies to see what works best for my students. I hold all of my students to a high expectation. In my classroom, I use constant proximity praise. Research says that students respond better to calling out who is doing the right thing, and students who are doing the wrong thing will fix their behavior rather than just calling down who is not doing what they are supposed to do. I'm a firm believer in this. One quote I often remind myself is, "Classroom management is not about having the right rules, it's about having the right relationships." I will always go above and beyond for my students and building those relationships.
Like a lot.
Emily, last thing. Metal is solid. Let me tell you guys something. It's okay if you don't know a lot about properties of solids, because that's what we're learning about today. So by the end of our class, or at the end of inquiry today, we will fill up the L column, because we will have learned so much about properties of solids. You want to get to it? Okay.
My goal walking into my classroom every day is to make a difference in each and every one of my students' lives through strong relationships, proximity praise, and building them to be a meaningful member of society. My students will leave each day knowing that they are respected and acknowledged for everything that they do. No matter race, gender, or cultural background, my students will know how much they are loved. If they are inside the four walls of Ms. Hostetter's classroom, they can do anything that they set their minds to, and I'm excited to continue, grow, and change as my time processes with my educational career.
What a sparkle word could be. It could be, hold on, raise your hand. Ryan, do you know what a sparkle word could be?
It might be like word just with sparkles.
Okay, great prediction. You know something else it could be? Preston?
Something that dazzles you.
Oh, something that dazzles you. I love that. Anything else? Hannah?
It helps me when you say sparkle. It sounds like sparklers, like that you hold in your hand and you wave around in the middle of the night and make.
Oh, you think that our eyes could be a wand? Not bad. I love it. But you guys are being so brave in your writing. I think you're ready to use sparkle words. Yay! Okay, silent cheer.
Hey,
I love you.
I love you.